has evolved into a quasi-parish or parish in formation, steadily building a community of the faithful, living our mission by striving to see Christ in all and be Christ to all, as well as raising the necessary resources to support the community. In March 2023, having met the benchmarks that the Archbishop and the Archdiocese wanted us to, I submitted a petition that St. Katharine Drexel be formally constituted a full canonical parish and be permitted to construct a parish church building. Between then and now, Deacon Randy, our trustees Kathy Reed and Mike Studeman and myself worked together with archdiocesan personnel to create a case for this request. On October 24th, a few weeks ago, Deacon Randy and I were invited to the Archdiocesan Presbyteral Council meeting, and that's made up of all the deans of the deaneries of the Archdiocese and one of the formal consultation bodies for the Archbishop. And it was a canonical step on his part to, he had to undertake to consult with them about our request. And that brings us to now in our history. And I would like to share with you a letter I received with this week from Archbishop Hebda. Dear Father Jaraseski, it is with great joy and hope that I inform you of my decision to erect St. Katharine Drexel as a canonical parish of our Archdiocese, effective March 3rd, 2024, the feast of your patron saint. I was elated to get this. A decree to this effect accompanies this letter. I congratulate you, Deacon Bauer, your trustees, and the more than 500 household members of your parish for reaching this important milestone in your development as a Catholic community. In this time, when we in our Archdiocese seek to preach the gospel more vigorously and with greater unity, and as we begin to renew our structures for doing so, the coming to maturity of a new parish community in our midst is a sign of great hope. The life of your patron, St. Katharine Drexel, was also a sign of hope in her time. She and her sisters brought the good news of Jesus to the western regions during times of our nation's expansion. Your mission is to bring the gospel to the north and western region of our Archdiocese in Ramsey, in its time of high growth. Your patron did so by sharing the message of the gospel and the life of the Eucharist with the poor and oppressed among the Native and African American people. Your parish continues her legacy as you strive to bring justice and peace to the earth by following Jesus Christ and seek to see Christ in all and be Christ to all. I thought it was great that he used some of our mission statement in that. As you move forward, I encourage you to keep in mind St. Catherine's focus on the Eucharist, the sacrament of unity and charity, as it can be a powerful part of how your parish brings unity and charity in these times of cultural division. As you are aware, the decision to erect the parish is not the final step before you can begin construction of your long-awaited church building. Please continue through the steps that remain. These will include consultations with the College of Consultors and the Archdiocesan Finance Council, as well as with the Office of Worship. These consultations may proceed prior to the effective date of parish establishment. Pope Francis has reminded us that in order for the journey of the Word to continue, the Christian community must make a determined missionary decision capable of transforming everything, so that the church's customs, ways of doing things, times and schedules, language and structures can be suitably channeled for the evangelization of today's world rather than for her own self-preservation. The Eucharistic community of St. Katharine Drexel knows this well, as modeled by your legacy of determination, innovation, and zeal for sharing the gospel. I encourage you to never lose sight of this evangelistic energy, which you have channeled so well into the burgeoning family of faith that is proud to call St. Katharine Drexel its home. Thank you for your perseverance these 19 years, and I trust that with your continued prayers and diligent efforts, cooperating with the Holy Spirit, the Lord will bring to completion the good work that he has already done through you and the good people of St. Katharine Drexel these past 2 decades. With every personal good wish and remembrance and prayer, I remain fraternally in Christ, Most Reverend Bernard Hebda. So.
Thank you. Very exciting. This is a big, big deal. It's a huge deal. And I look around and I see faces that have been here for our 19 years, and I see faces that have maybe been here for 19 days, and it's a big deal for all of us. I sit here and we all sit here. This isn't our victory. This isn't a parish council victory. It's our victory. And so I sit here with huge amounts of gratitude for the work that you have all done, that you invited people, you showed up, you came, you bought into our mission, and so thank you for that, and congratulations to all of you, because this is a really big deal. And this, what I love so much is that we were never promised an easy road, and we weren't. I love how Archbishop, I thought about this rereading this letter just now, he used the words determination, innovation, and zeal. Like, hallelujah, right? That's a really big deal, and that is what we did. So be very, very proud of yourself. Congratulations.
Father Paul and I were on a Zoom call Tuesday morning with some of the department heads from the Archdiocese that informed us of the Archbishop's decision that this letter would be forthcoming, and I commented how significant it was that we got that information the day before All Saints' Day, because we've been praying to practically all of the saints. So Susan Mulhern, the Chancellor for Canonical Affairs, who helped draft the letter to put all the right canonical language into the letter and decree, said, I'll have the Archbishop date the letter November 1st, the Solemnity of All Saints.
Thank you, Father Paul and Kathy. That concludes the time. No, there's some other stuff we need to go over. That's pretty big news, though, right? So I'm going to turn it over to Paul, who's the chair of the Finance Council. Paul, you get the unenviable task of following up that news. Paul, take it away.
Well, good morning, everyone. Yeah, that is, I have to stand because that is a tough act to follow, so, Yes, I'm Paul, Chair of Finance Council, so welcome everyone, and thanks for sticking around after Mass today. Just a couple quick things as I walk through this. Our fiscal year starts on July 1st. Every month, or divided by 12, if you will. So certain things come due earlier in the year as opposed to later in the year. So we had planned. We are not non-for-profit, if you will. So when we set our budget for the year, our income matches our expenses. So we are not in this to lose money, and we're not into this to make money, if you will, at the end of the day. So that's why some months are different. But right now, the deficit is running to be about $5,200 higher than budgeted. We always do meet our obligations, so we do have money in the savings account, if you will, and are able to, like I say, meet those obligations despite showing a deficit. Now we do, because we are zero, plan to make that up as the year goes on. So let's talk a little bit of how we can all work together here. I want to kind of look back at 2023 because this is a really great handout, especially right in the middle of the page here. This blue and orange pie chart. So if your kids are looking at this, or if you're all looking at it, it is not Pac-Man. That big blue chunk is all the giving. All of that each and every one of you contributes each and every week, each and every month, sometimes each and every year. I just want to point out, that is the bulk. That is, in this graph, 85% of it. Had we are up at the cabin, you can keep that auto withdrawal going. If you haven't looked at your auto withdrawal and you are participating, I had to look at it after having that on for 5 years and realize that it hadn't changed at all. So adjusted that, if you will. So please, again, look at your auto withdrawal, and because it is important. Team.
Paul had mentioned the Adopt-A-Bill, and when you look at that financial statement, there's a line there in the notes that shows how much actually came in from Adopt-A-Bill. That's when we plastered the wall over there with our summer bills, and we asked people to take one of those cards and give us the money to cover that bill. We need to get away from giving to meet a need and create the idea of stewardship, of a need to give, so that we don't have to ask you to adopt a bill to pay it. We want to be able to pay those bills just through our regular giving. So we do plead with all of you, please look at what you've been giving to the parish, and if you can possibly increase that in any way, it's going to make life a lot easier for the Finance Council, for the Father Paul and the staff to be able to do everything that we want to do.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Deacon Randy. This is a good transition to our next update, which will come from my dad, Ron Studeman, chair of the Stewardship Council.
Thank you, Mike. Again, one of the key things that stewardship focuses on is our volunteers. Our volunteers at this parish are our most important. Is very timely to get comfortable with what you want to do. We do not need experts. We will train and make all of our volunteers very comfortable in what they have to do. And sometimes things are pretty simple. One of the things we oversee is hospitality. Typically on a Sunday morning, we get approximately 60 people in there. If you volunteer for hospitality, you have to do it once every 3 months, which means 4 times a year. So 4 times a year, taking care of 60 people, you can make 240 people very happy by serving them a cup of coffee and a donut. So being a donut disciple is pretty easy. The other thing is we know there's a lot of talented people out there, and we want to take advantage of those talents. So again, just because we offer a ministry here doesn't mean we can't start something new. And again, keep an open mind when it comes to that. The other thing, just one last reminder for our volunteers, because we have a small staff, okay, be courteous, and if you can't
Thanks, Dad. We're now going to hear an update from Kathy Provence and our Capital Campaign Committee. And as much as you enjoyed Father's announcement, these next two are real bangers. You're going to like it.
Wow, that's quite a lead-in. Well, I'm Kathy, here to talk about the Capital Campaign and our update. We have a lot of good news, and being an official parish is really ginormous to moving forward. That's what we needed to progress. You'll notice that currently we have 4.2 million on hand.
clarified last night when we made this announcement and we talked about pledging. One of our youth who has a steady job filled out a pledge card and turned it in. A young man. So folks, if you haven't pledged, time to pledge. Thank you.
Pledge, so it's not, oh, I can give $1,000 to it now and write the check for $1,000 and then maybe do something in the future. We have to show that we've got between money in the bank and pledges that 5.5 million before we're going to get to go ahead to build. So we do have to have those additional pledges. So even if you've already given, if you know in the next 3 years you're going to be able to give more, please fill out a pledge card. And people are doing that multiple ways. Some are just doing regular monthly contributions, some doing something quarterly, annually, whatever. People using the IRA distribution that you have to do once you reach a certain age. You avoid some tax if you have that minimum contribution come straight to the parish. You don't have to show that as taxable income. If you've got stock that's gone way up, you don't have to pay capital gains on stock if you donate the stock to us and we sell it and then have that proceed. So there's a number of ways that you can contribute in addition to just writing out a check. So there's pledge cards out there. If you haven't filled one out, fill one out. If you've met your initial 3-year pledge, pledge for another 3 years.
Thank you, Deacon. Thank you, Kathy. Our next update, and just to let everybody know where we're at, we have 2 more updates, and then we'll get you on your way with your Sunday. The next update kind of builds on that excitement that Kathy has for the capital campaign. Gary Van Scoy is going to give us an update on the building. Gary.
Good morning. I'm Gary, and I want to invite you all to help us build a permanent home for our Catholic community. And I think that this is a great opportunity for us. I just want to take a little ride back. Yes, sir. I should know how to do this, but okay. Father Paul talked about a little bit of history. I want to talk just a little bit about that too, in terms of why we're building this. We're looking at building what we are. If you look up here, on the left, there is a plan. This is a plan that was developed during the year of 2008, and in 2009, we came up with this plan. This was to show this is what we could handle in 2009 and a little bit in the future. It was 10,000 square feet. Okay, we are currently at a little over 11,000 square feet in here, where we moved in 2010. If you look around, you notice that the space that we have really limits our ability to meet our liturgical needs and our programming. Our building committee and the subcommittees in there went through a process, and we determined that we needed about 15,000 square feet to manage what we're doing today and a little bit in the future. We've got a little room for expansion. We need to have room for expansion because over the last few years, in 2018, January of 2018, we had 400 registered households. Today, it's over 500. We have growth. Father Paul talked about it. I think Archbishop Hebda acknowledged it. We are growing. So as we look at what we're doing today, we're also looking at expansion, okay? So I just wanted to make sure that people understand that we are not only looking at what we got today, but looking to the future, because we expect that we will have more families join us. So the 15,000 square feet, 15,500 actually, we are working with the contractor and the architect. We have a target of $5.5 million in order to build something like that. The concept that we looked at, that we presented to you over the last few years, that concept is if we had all the money in the world and we wanted to build something that looked really, really pretty, what we're going to look at is what can be functional for us. We're still looking at roughly 15,500 square feet. We hope to maintain that footprint, but I don't expect that it's going to look like the concept that we've had. And I don't expect that when we're ready to move in, it's going to be completely finished. If you take a look around what we've done here with volunteers, okay, we have done a marvelous job. I expect that when we move into their new building, we're going to need to have some support from our volunteers, from our parishioners, to get things completely finished. The issue behind all that is funding. So if we had all the money in the world, we could go have a beautiful structure right away. I think we're going to have to work through it, and we're going to have to develop a plan and just continue to get things done like we always have. So again, we'll be available for questions.
A little bit of update time frame wise. There's some permissions we need to get through the Archdiocese, and the College of Consultors and the Archdiocesan Finance Council have a meeting November 21st. We are on the agenda for that meeting to be able to go ahead and continue this process to build. We're working with Langer Construction on a design build concept, and Langer has said that they would like to be seeking subcontractor bids in January when the subcontractors are all looking for business for the coming year. That's when they get the lowest bids. So we're on a time frame that we should be able to do that. We're hoping that we can actually break ground in the spring as soon as the thaw comes out. And we're shooting for a goal of having Christmas Mass in 2024 in our new building.
So before I thank you, Gary, and thank you, Deacon Randy, Father Paul.
Just a reminder to folks so we don't get confused about this. Whatever we come up with finally to be presented to the Archdiocese in terms of the church, etc., this will be phase one, and it will meet our needs and some into the future. Eventually, there should be a phase two that will be a larger section for worship. Right now, we can seat about 200 and some people in here. We're looking at, for this first phase, 400 in the worship area, which will also be multi-purpose at some points because we'll have to use some of it for other events as well. So just so you're aware of the fact that it's phase one. And so we won't have all the bells and whistles that we would like to have, but the bells and whistles can come later on after I'm dead and you're building for the future again.
So before we give you our final update of the day, just a couple of comments. I don't know how many times as a leader I've been told here at St. Katharine Drexel, I'll join when you're a formal parish, or I'll join when you're building a building. If anyone has told that to you, now is the time to show them the receipts. We're building a building, folks. We are a formal parish. Right? Now is the time to start saying to people, if you want to get in, now is the time. Our final update will come from Troy Bauer, our youth minister, with an update on youth activities. Troy and some of the core team members.
Thanks, Mike. So like you mentioned, I'm Troy. I do a lot of different jobs and duties here at the church, one of the primary ones being the youth here. So just kind of a brief overview of our youth program. Kind of over the last 5 years, we've really expanded, which is great. When I took over this program, we were really small. We had about 3 youth that were routinely active in the parish, and now we're 30 plus, which is a great spot to be. Not even just for our youth program, but for any youth program of a church of any size. So the fact that we're at that size and ownership in our parish is really great. One of the aspects that we've really leaned into the last few years is kind of mission and service work. So we go on 2 mission trips every single summer. We do a local one to Red Lake and the St. Mary's Mission, and we do one out of state. So this summer we'll be going to Red Lake again, and then we'll be going to Kentucky later on in the summer. So we do that, and we also do locally once a month, we do a service project, either in-house here or at a local agency in the area. So between our mission trips and those monthly service projects, we've kind of helped out over 75 different ministries and nonprofits, which is something that we're really proud of and really like engaging with other communities and helping them out in that way. And then also in our growth in the last several years, we have a lot of different schools that are involved, which is awesome. So we have 12 different middle school and high schools in our youth program. So when we have our youth nights on a Monday, we have kids that are coming from all different kinds of high schools and middle schools that are getting together, and they have friendships outside of their normal friend groups or extracurriculars, but they can come make friends and relationships outside of that, and that's part of why they come on Mondays. And then just in addition to that, our youth, I want to brag about them a little bit. They do a lot for us at the parish, and I'm proud kind of what they do. They do a lot of stuff with cleaning. We had our Oktoberfest event. A lot of the volunteers were them. It wasn't a youth event. They didn't get any of the money. They just wanted to help out the parish. And so I was really grateful for what they do for us at events and in volunteering, and then I'll let them share a little bit about some of their experiences.
Okay, so I'm Sinclair. I'm a junior at Andover High School. Last year I started confirmation, and I wasn't really invested in it. I just kind of did it because my parents really wanted me to. After I was confirmed in June, I did a lot with this church because I was really close with one of my friends here. And she had me volunteer at Vacation Bible School, and then she went to Red Lake, so then I was like, I'll just go with. And ever since then, I kind of started going to church more on Sundays, and then I went to youth nights almost every night, and I went to Philadelphia last minute, which, thank you, Troy, for letting me join last minute. And then it just kind of really changed my perspective on my faith, and I just got really good friends throughout, like, the youth here. And now I'm, like, here every Sunday. I volunteer when I can. I'm at youth night every night. Sometimes I come early. I just really do whatever I can to help out here. So.
My name's Ray Studeman. I am a senior at Andover High School, and I'm a member of the youth leadership team here at St. Katharine Drexel. I help out with the cleaning crew. I go on both mission trips each year, and I help volunteer at many youth events like Oktoberfest, as Troy said. And I was brought up here to say, and my perspective, which is that we could not be as successful and as close-knit as a group as we are without the support of everyone here and Father Paul and Deacon Randy especially. So you can continue that support by going to our Tacos and Trivia event this Saturday. And that would be very helpful. Thank you.
All right, a few comments here as we wrap up and send you on your way. How do we move forward? Well, we move forward in the words of our patron, press forward and fear nothing. Some asks as we move forward, if you could bring up the slide in the back. First, continue to pray for our community. Okay? Prayer has already shown that it has results in being named a parish. Please continue to do so. This is a very exciting time at St. Katharine Drexel. We have a lot going on. As we continue to grow, both in numbers and in establishing our former building, there's going to be a lot of rumors and innuendo. I would ask on behalf of the council that you ask instead of assume. All of us on the parish council have name tags. Please come up and ask questions at any time. If we don't know the answer, we can get you the answer. That'll be very, very important to maintain the community moving forward. Continue to recruit other households. I look forward to the time when we can look back and say, remember when we were 500 households? Also, as Paul said, continue to look at your financial commitment. If you haven't looked at that commitment in a while, please look at refreshing it. Any and all gifts, both for our operating expenses in terms of your weekly or monthly contributions, as well as your pledges to the capital campaign are very much appreciated. Any pledge to the capital campaign helps us get closer to turning a shovel of dirt. And finally, get involved. As I said earlier, as a number of the speakers have said, this is a great time to get involved as we're nearing actually moving into that building. We want to get you on your way for today, so we will be up here, the panelists. Also, any members of the parish council that aren't part of the panel, if you could raise your hand. Feel free to ask any of those folks as well, any questions that you might have. Any final words, Deacon Randy or Father Paul?
As you leave, everything that we had today for hospitality is all organic, so there's organic containers by the back door and over on the side. So put it all in organic, none of that goes in the garbage.
Have a great Sunday, everyone.